Good morning and aloha, everybody. That is a face. Welcome to another episode of Something to Do. We are going to watch another episode of the PC Gamer Show. This is episode 2, and this is part 3. Again, we already know what we're getting into. Logic just went out the window. Let's just get started right away. This is a pretty long episode.
How did you balance the perks and traits system in Fallout New Vegas? It really adds a level of depth to the character creation that we haven't seen before.
Well, you see, Corey, perks are like children. All of them are special, but some are naturally more gifted than others.
Who invited the other abomination into the goddamn house?
That's really insightful. Thank you. I know there was some original work created for the Van Buren project. Did any of that make its... What?
There's nothing unusual going on here at all.
I'm sorry about that. So tell me, what was it like working with Ron Perlman?
If they reveal there was nobody underneath that desk and that thing was just stuck to the desk, I'm gonna be very shocked.
Give me some Cheeto. I don't know.
That was beautiful, Corey.
Thank you.
Let's just get into it.
It's just right there. Just open right there.
List
Top
of the
25
best Cheetos.
RPGs list. I'm working on this list of top Cheeto bags. No, I'm making this list of top 25 role-playing games.
Of
And
all
Top
time.
25
All time.
Cheetos
On the
in
PC.
video
And it's
games that
not-
happen to be in bags.
What is a role-playing game?
That's what...
Put that on a t-shirt.
I think the hardest thing about making the list is defining the exact criteria of what really makes a game an RPG.
Do you include MMOs?
And what makes
if
a
you're gonna
list?
include co-op RPGs, why not include an MMO? They are totally RPGs, though. They are role-playing games, and
From that definition, like, Mario Brothers is a role-playing game.
I mean, if you count Mario and
Playing as
Luigi.
an Italian fat plumber.
One of the games that I had on my list to be considered for inclusion was BioShock.
Yeah, I don't think that's an RPG. Would you like to defend?
So I'm willing to concede and not have it on the list because the stuff we talked about.
I mean, it has
earlier, saying
abilities
why
that you
is it
can
or is it
unlock,
not an
so if
RPG,
you take that one element there,
kind
it can
of
technically be an
customize your
RPG.
character in BioShock the way
Like
you
he's
play the
just
game,
saying
with
now.
certain
I don't need to
buffs
say a
and
dang
abilities
thing.
You have, whether you're gonna go like be a dude with a wrench who just
cut
gets
already.
200%. You can kind of just mix and match and grab all the abilities by the end of the game.
Yeah.
So you're not really ever forced into some
You
kind
can
of
punch
specific
somebody,
character customization.
become
when
an
you have all the options
anteater,
available to you. So
Become
in that sense,
Skeletor.
it's more like these are just the powers that you have at your disposal in the game.
to me, an RPG, it's about.
Are
your
they
character
recording this in a
stats,
cubicle?
and you make decisions about how your character deals with a situation, but ultimately you roll to find out.
Mass Effect 2 is
Clearly an RPG.
definitely an RPG, even though it happens to have a lot more action than like Knights of the Old Republic. You are having dialogue with your companions and making interesting choices
Your
that will
roommates,
affect how
your
the story
possible
plays out.
lovers.
So I feel like for this list, you need to be lenient enough to allow action RPG games that are a little borderline in there. So the number one game on my list is also
Borderline and Borderlands.
definitely in the action RPG category. You're timing, single button presses to your
Hit the
attacks
belly.
and the way
Hit
you
the belly.
think
Go
of
for
those
the
attacks.
belly.
It's much more action.
Get that belly.
So we're making some decisions here on what the criteria for a role-playing game is. It's not just Baldur's Gate. It could be anything.
Why don't we
with
bring in a
dialogue,
role-playing game now and ask
decisions,
it what it thinks it
anything
is?
with- There will be a representative from the Fallout series. I'm thinking maybe like Fallout 2, possibly Fallout New Vegas. I think there's a lot to love there. There will be an
Yes,
Elder
I've got
Scrolls game on the
shaken
list,
by
so
the fires.
there are a
Hum
couple
nom
of
nom
future
nom
choices to
nom
make
nom.
there.
And the
I think
day
Deus
that
Ex
I
will be on the
stopped
list over
beating
Human
is
Revolution
the
for
day
sure.
my world's
Banks an
away.
RPG?
I think Corey Banks 3.5.
I don't know. I think Corey Banks has RPG elements, but I don't know
There's,
if I'd call him an RPG.
there's some weak dialogue, to be sure.
Video
But
did
there's
that
a
and
lot
didn't
of
do
character
anything.
progression if you just. So I wanted to start first before we talk about Pillars of Eternity and kind of pick your brain about Fallout because New Vegas is such an interesting.
Before that, what the heck is that
How'd you
tattoo?
guys-
They didn't want the Fallout license to have a very long gap before the next installment. So
I thought he was
we
gonna
talked
shoot
to
the
them
camera.
about making sort of like a side story in the Fallout universe that they had sort of rebooted.
How much stuff did you actually pull? Because I know Black Isle had worked on a Fallout 3 concept called Van Buren.
Mm-hmm.
How much of
Oh,
that
okay.
ended up
Wow.
into New Vegas?
I spoke too soon.
It takes the Fallout 3 formula from Bethesda and expands on it so much.
I mean, we didn't have. I mean, it wasn't like we were going to redesign the entire game. So we kind of
But it
had.
definitely felt like you were putting a lot of the old Fallout mechanics and expandability and like the traits and perks, for example, feel much more so in New Vegas as if there are definitely trade-offs. Like you're going to get a pro out of this, but there's definitely a con.
Yeah, I always liked stuff like
It's like
that.
getting out of an
I think as
abusive
long as the
relationship
con
and the
is not
wife is trying to
penalizing
fix
the
up
player,
everything
as long as
the
it's kind of a
husband
minor
freaking
effect, it's really
broke.
great for flavor.
I just want to get this out of the way because you made an amazing, super hardcore mod. I just wanted you to talk a little bit about that.
Okay, that's just J.E. Sawyer. It's not even J.E. Sawyer, it's just J. Sawyer. If you want to play a really challenging version of the game that doesn't really add content, it just kind of fixes
Somebody's
stuff.
iPad just
and,
went
and
off.
some of the content that was in the game but not really utilized.
Did you guys always know that you wanted to include mod support in the game?
Bethesda has always been really good about supporting modding. Oblivion, Fallout 3, Skyrim, they all have great mod support, and I think it's really
The video
cool. I
made
think
the
it's
joke
a great
for me.
way
I was going to
for
say
aspiring
something
game
about Donkey
developers
Kong
to
and
actually
Pikachu,
start getting into
and then
it.
they
I mean,
just
that's
end
like-
up
that's
showing
like
it
one of the first
anyway.
things I recommend to any Bethesda's tools. They're really easy to use. They're great for modding, and for even little
It's like an
things.
edgier
you wanna go and
version
you
of
wanna
Gary's
prove how
mod.
ammunition works. You want to go into Skyrim
Or
and
just
make your
Gary's
fly
mod.
faster. Fallout New Vegas was made in 18 months, and none of us had any experience with the engine before. None of us had worked with it, the technology, the code base, anything. So
They
we
just
really
kind of
took
locked
we
us in an
took a very
office
serious
and
look
was
at
like,
how
"You figure it
Bethesda
out."
did things and how they built things.
First-person
I made a
perspective
joke,
game?
but
Oh,
that
it's just due
is
to unfamiliarity with the engine.
shockingly
Like,
accurate
Bethesda's
to how
engine, you can
most
build,
games are
huge
made.
environments are really
Like you
cool,
hire
really
a bunch
big,
of
lots stuff,
people
but they're
and
kinda
then
like, build them
barely
like this,
explain
build them like
anything to
this,
them.
build sight
That
lines
is
like
kind
this,
of the
don't build them like that.
unfortunate thing
So
of
18
how
months is a
some
pretty short
companies,
crash course
you
for
know,
building a
think
world that is,
when they
you know,
hire
as big
teams,
as
they
New
don't
Vegas
bother
was.
explaining
ambitious.
anything
Yeah,
properly
it's,
to
well,
them.
we kind of knew like we couldn't really
Really
have a thing
sucks.
that was-
Any chance you guys would ever go back to that franchise?
Oh, I'm sure we would. There's tons of stuff. I mean, I know Avalon loves making stuff in the Fallout universe. I'd love to go to other locations, either whether it's on the West Coast or just an entirely.
We're
new
even
location
thinking
would be
about
fun to
making a
do.
game called
I
Standing
think
In.
there's lots of neat
I want to just jump right into it.
So far,
I've-
my favorite RPG of 2014.
I've played about.
I see
30
that
seconds
dinosaur
of
in
this,
the
but you've been
background.
talking about it for like 2 weeks
I own
now,
that.
Right.
and it sounds.
I have like
really
the
awesome.
mini
I'm
version
hoping my
of it, like
64
the
hours of experience
the
so
one
far
that's
will-
like,
will translate to
8
something that
inches
works for me.
tall.
We
We're-
basically spent our
they have, like, the
entire
full-size
July 4th vacation
one, and
playing
then
this
also,
game,
a-
so I want to know
like
what's
the
so
tiny
great
one
about
that
it.
McDonald's
There's
had.
a lot. And
The other person doesn't necessarily agree with, right?
Exactly. And part
Two
of
groups of
that
people are
design
recording
process
two
is that
separate
we can
videos.
split up the party if we want to. So right now you're kind of
They're recording this, and there's an entirely different group of people talking in the background.
Scarlett, who is in
That's
my
what I
game,
call
expert
multitasking.
marksman.
You're getting an
focusing on
extra
just using her bow
preview
to do ranged
of the
attacks.
video
Also
that's
gonna
going
be
to be in
control
the
of
possible
Medora,
future.
who in my game is a very beefy two-handed sword person. These guys up here look to me like the bad guys. It looks like, did you get pulled into combat?
Nope.
Okay.
I was thinking about
So
shooting
you
him with
just
an arrow,
assume they're bad
Why
guys.
don't you?
He just said he wanted to kill me.
Oh. Well, then you
So-
started a fight, and I was actually close enough that I'm into the fight
Hey,
as well.
hello.
We are
How are
flanking
you? Good.
I just
That's
shot that
good.
guy.
I'm
Well, I
gonna
shot
kill
two guys
you.
with an
Okay
arrow.
then.
You did. I think you
one
did.
arrow.
I think you did the ricochet pattern.
How did I miss the guy in the middle?
Probably through,
I guess the angle wasn't quite right.
or maybe a die roll went really poorly for you. I have.
You
8
failed the
action
natural
points,
20.
So I'm gonna nudge
Instead,
my
you
way
rolled a
up here.
2. And 2 stands
Just
for
2
too
action
bad.
points, please. That puddle of blood underneath that thug, where she just moved away from, that counts as water. And there are a lot of like elemental status effects that can affect combat. In this
Can you
game.
get
So, like,
drunk
if
off
someone's
of it
standing in
like
water,
wine?
you hit them with lightning, they can get stunned.
I'm just laughing at my
If
own
someone's
stupid
standing,
jokes.
In fire, they'll get burned. If they're standing in oil and you throw a fireball, they'll catch on fire.
We only got like 5 action points.
Your blood is
so-
officially
yeah, because You are
alcohol.
slowed right now.
Oh, those
That's
are
how
just
you-
the hotkeys.
That's how you action points.
Oh, it
here.
uses 0.
And
They
that thing
have
over
a
there,
ability
that's the
called,
sticky key.
um,
Avoid it at all
tactical
costs.
retreat.
It will screw
Oh,
you
yeah,
over
it's forward
so
action point,
badly.
It'll let you.
Scarlet is now warm.
Scarlet's now warming beside the fire.
Would you love me
And
even if I was a worm?
put you hung. You did 64 normal damage, and then 10 water damage.
Fortunately, I can't stab him again.
Yep, so save those points.
I have 2
So what I'm
screens
getting
too,
so
except
far
one
is
of
the
them's not
combat
plugged
this
in.
game is
We have like
It
the
is super
wire to
intense.
plug it in,
It's really interesting.
except I'm not sure if we have any room for it.
sharing the battle decisions with you as well. And that's another
You mean letting me make bad battle decisions?
No, that I'm not. I can't count on what I'm going to be able to do with Scarlet, for example. 'Cause a lot
So
of times
don't
I could
worry,
have
you're
these
not the
characters
only one
setting
that's
up
being
for
crap.
You and I, if we were playing, for hours and hours on end, would probably be communicating more about that. Like you could be throwing an oil bottle.
Yeah, we could be talking about that. We could be talking more.
Probably should have just hit that
Why don't
guy,
we
I would've
talk
done more
more?
damage.
We knocked him down, so he's not going to.
I'm lonely.
He quaffed a potion, though.
Tid.
Go
Any
off.
game that uses the phrase. So now we have the staff. We've got some more experience. Let's go turn it in.
Man down, man
We
down,
didn't get
everyone's
level up
down!
doing that.
I want to give him the staff.
Why would you not?
That's a
keep the
really
staff?
nice stick. It would be a
And
shame if I
kill
took
people
it.
with
Do you want to keep the staff, or do you want to keep the relic?
Wait, is this guy senile?
He's a little senile, yeah. He's a little dotty in the
I'm
back.
not giving him a superpower magical staff.
But
This is my
what we
stick.
should
You
do.
can't have it.
Like,
Why?
Reason just makes sense. We swore to serve Cecil. We cannot
I didn't.
steal from one
I
of its
didn't swear to
officials.
serve Cecil. I swore to play an RPG and get a sweet staff.
Okay, well, you have some options for.
I
how you
came
want
here
to
for the
approach
stick.
this-
I
this
got the
RPG.
stick.
Whoa,
I
okay,
want
are
the
we
stick. I'm not
Rochambeau
giving you
now?
the
We
stick.
are. This
It's
is how
my
we're gonna
stick.
figure out we're not going to give him the staff.
No, I'm keeping that staff. Thanks for taking me through like a chunk from the beginning of Divinity. I think I have
And
like
introducing
a slight
me to the
grasp of what the
stick.
combat's like. So
The
I'm gonna
stick is
jump
now
into
forever
it,
part of my
customize
life.
My own characters and see if I fail horribly or actually have learned something.
I think you're ready to play, man. Just jump in.
I hope so.
All right, Josh. Let's talk about.
You're not a narcissist at all,
It's
reading your own
cool.
goddamn
You know,
magazine.
You know, in a lot of ways, like, I mean, Dungeons and Dragons definitely inspired a lot of the choices that we
Sure.
made, but we did want to make our own setting. We wanted to make our own rule system.
We wanted to make
But when a person
dragons
comes
and
into it, we want
dungeons.
it to and Aora is a big old world. The part of it that you're in right now is called the Eastern Reach, but that's very,
Pillars
very
of
dangerous
Eternity.
because the locals regard
Big
them as
chocolate
sacred,
bars of
and they
infinity.
would defend them. Character can be from a number of different
Space bars
backgrounds,
of
and you're part
forever.
once you sort of have the
Singular
context for it, you're going to
wall
create your character,
of a lot.
as in and
The
then for
endless
classes, again,
panel
in the Kickstarter campaign, we started with
that
5
sticks out of the
backers
ground.
backing all- So we started with fighter, rogue, priest, and wizard. I'm sorry, fighter, rogue, priest, wizard, and ranger, and then everything
Fighter
else on
flight
that list was
response.
added by them. There's not a lot of gotcha stuff where it's like, oh, I can't believe you made that choice right at character creation. Now your character's going to suck for the rest of the game. So we do believe that it has a lot of nice, cool stuff. That
We're
feels
not
like
going to
there's a lot of
constantly
detail and a lot
nudge
of
your
depth in it.
goddamn arm
But it's something
with
that I
our
feel like, you know
elbow
what, I never really
over
played
and
those games.
over.
I'd like to get into
Just like
them,
you
but I've never
impressed?
played
Are you
D&D.
impressed yet?
Let's go
Do you
with
get
that.
it?
Okay.
Do you
So
get it?
in
Do you
the
get
game,
it?
in
Do
the
you
story
get it?
itself,
Shut
so
up,
once you start
please.
out in this character, I know how to make a remedy for that. I'm going to send someone to help you.
There's an app for
find
that.
to show
There's a
little
lot
bit
of video
combat here.
games
It is
that
a
take
real-time
place
with,
at night. It's
pause
making
combat
me
system.
think
So
there's
right
like
now,
a bug
Kalisha is
outside
using her defender
making
ability to try to
noise,
hold the
which
line and draw the-
has happened
the wolves
before. It's
towards her.
interrupted the recording multiple
Even though
times,
she's
but
being hit, she has
like
a
all
constant
of these
stamina recovery,
games seem
so
to be
she
taking
can
place
kind
at
of weather
night.
that
There's a
little
lot
more
of
easily.
cricket
She also
sound
has some
effects.
knockdown ability that she's gonna
It's
try to
making me
use.
think there's
Oh,
one in
she
my
got knocked
room,
down.
which
So
there
wolves can
was
knock
one
down as
for a
well.
while.
Right now,
It
the
was
barbarian's
annoying.
using a Did you blow it twice? Well, we took care of it anyway. Win some, you lose some. Knock
Did
down
you
some,
suck
It's
at
not
my
the
game?
prettiest win.
But he does it by hitting your friend in the back with his axe. Doesn't kill him, but it does hurt
He
him.
wanted
very
to ask
severely.
you a
Doesn't feel
question.
good.
No. And on your way, Hayden, who's the guy you just rescued, he gets grabbed and pulled down by one of the dying Glonfothans.
It's one of those games where you
depending
get
on your
screwed either
equipment
way,
and your
even if
character
you do the
class and
right
things
thing,
like that,
much
in
like
which case
reality.
he is left there to die. But you
Now
can
I'm
also, in
sad.
this case, choose. And because this is more of a traditional style game, we decided to go with these scripted sequences scripted interactions, because we can just describe it all through illustrations and text.
You can't just
So
make stand-up comedy
the way
the
that our
game.
rest system works is in the Infinity Engine games. Typically, in an area you either could rest, or you
Unless
couldn't.
it's
And
a
if you could
party
rest,
game.
Often they're random. Just monitor their character's health over time. Monitor their per rest abilities, and then when they're like, "Oh, you know what? I'm getting kind of
Don't
low, I
F
really need
up.
to refresh."
Don't F up.
We did not want to encourage ref spamming. We didn't want to encourage save spamming. We wanted to encourage people to treat their resources as things that were strategic. And we found in playtesting that that's what people do. They're like, holy crap, I can only rest twice more, and then I'm going to have to go all the way back to town before I can rest.
Right.
So, like, people
This was a
tend to treat that very
multiplayer server. One of the players
So we
would just
finally
go
found our
into
way
a
out of
server
the,
and there's like
ruins,
80
and
players all lying down on the
it's
floor.
outside.
Slumber party in
We're
an
home
RPG.
free. Yep. Everything's fine.
Hopefully, people will enjoy it. We really try to
Skinny
capture that feeling,
blocks
the
of
look and
long
feel of how
lastingness.
We're going to spend a lot of time listening to the backers and
Oh,
getting their feedback as well.
Yeah, of
Is
course.
that something? It's not something that Obsidian's used to working with.
And if they
necessarily,
don't like it, we'll
giving
just
the
throw it in the
unfinished product,
trash.
though, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty used to how they talk and how they express their ideas and stuff like that. So
I've been yelled at a
it's
lot.
just kind of just focusing on.
It
the
affects
people
my
who are
self-esteem
trying
a
to be
lot.
constructive, and give
I
good
get
feedback.
sad.
And then just evaluating it seriously and going like, you know what, they're right about this. This stuff they're completely not right about,
Sure.
and then just making good decisions based on that. That are.
Well, thanks so much for showing Pillars of Eternity to us.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us.
Can we hug?
Boy, I sure do love video games. Oh man, quitting time.
It's nothing o'clock. Time to get lunch. Never change. Never change.
Not the best clap. Everything this
Clap
puppet
on,
says
clap
is
on.
like the word of God.
The
to me.
clapper.
Was it trembling?
You're like, You never hear any of Jim Henson's people
Roll on.
complain.
Is my head in the shot right here? Yeah.
It's Fallout Boy and his bush buddy. Okay, yeah, that was episode 2. That was a lot more serious than the other episode. Much like the other episode, it had its sillier moments, but this was mainly all serious talk. I didn't really know what to do, so this video's probably got to be cut down by a lot. Like, I went into this expecting it to be, like, all jokes and corniness, which the first episode was entirely all of that. But, yeah, I'm starting to notice each episode, as it gets longer, I think it's going to be dropping most of the jokes as it goes along. But, you know, we still saw some of them, and they have the courtesy to leave the outtakes in, and that's awesome. So, yeah, that was really good. And much like the other stuff, I encourage you to watch it. So, have a good day, safe week, and a wonderful rest of your month. Bye-bye.